only beast rush down that they created in Dallas specifically to counter those RMPs.
And now, as a new to the tournament scene, BHMS, obviously the team that won second place in the online qualifier to make it. Unfortunately, the first team couldn't make it, and Complexity decided to send them. So props to Complexity as an esport for furthering the WoW esport brand.
Now, one thing we can note is Check 6 so far in this tournament, they faced against RLS. They toppled that on Friday night. And then they played an RMP, which they are already confident about. But we do have two Shadow Cleaves here in Anaheim. If they're able to get past BHMS with ease, then you can pretty much guarantee they're going to breeze their way into the top 4 for Sunday.
So this is a big match for them, as long as I guarantee they know the strat by heart for defeating Shadow Cleave as this team.
All right, here we go. Twix already getting things started, and it looks like Suts is the target. They're just going to stick onto him. Now let's see if Flex is going to just be able to stick onto him. I mean, there's nothing real stopping him at this point. And look at his HP drop, 7,000 HP, and these haunts are not enough. There's a Hex on Rogo. He's going to shift out of that, and all they're looking for is that blitz second where they can interrupt some heals coming in from Rogo, but Snuts able to get away, and now Flex still trying to get back up to him as he does have freedom. And now we see some purges coming in as he's finally able to get back over to Snuds. And now we see Twix's pet coming in, and now's when the damage is going to start. There was a Strangulate on the toes and a lot of dodge rolling onto Twix at this point.
Snuds is still taking damage. Twix actually switched to his pet for a little while, down to 10,000 hit points with that aim shot debuff on him, taking a lot of damage, but his healer's right behind him.
And now Flex actually opting to kill Snuts' pet, gets a win for your proc, but now going to be gripped back up by Massives. And you see him, he's just trying to get over to his target. Cyclone's coming in from Brogo as he notices that there's a little lack of momentum. Now look at Twix, fully dotted, 6,000 HP. Cyclone onto Flex. Wow, 15k heal coming in from Toes. He had the bubble to get that off though. Now we just see another stun onto Snuts, dropping down to 10,000 HP. Flex connects and Snuts will immediately teleport back up. Still under 10,000 HP. And there's that big red angry beta of Twix coming up to the top of the arena. Flex still dropping under 10,000 HP, but another freedom used on him. Now Snuts is dropping back off to the side. And now remember, Toes almost out of mana, already using bubble. Things looking very good for BHMS at this point.
Now Flex is at half health right now. We do see that Arcane Torrent and a big fear right there hitting the entire team. A great play, but look at Toes getting so low. He's already bubbled. He's got nothing. And he goes down.
And Beast Cleave seeming like it's not going to cruise through just yet. BHMS going to stop them in the first round. After game 1, BHMS up 1 over Check 6-0.
Talk about damage. Look at that. Snuts doing 140,000 damage as the Warlock while being pressured.
Now, I will go ahead and say this. Blade's Edge is BHMS's friend at this point. How many times did you see Snuts take advantage of that portal on the bridge?
He pulled them so far away from his portal every time and then ported.
So these guys are going to go ahead and queue back up, and I can promise you Check 6 is over there saying no Blade's Edge, and the BHMS trying to say no Ring of Valor, but the dice roll not in your favor this time, BHMS. It's going to be the Ring of Valor. Not a lot of room to run here. These pets, once they establish onto their target, it's going to be a little rocky.
Hey, at least Pestilence hits every target in this arena.
That it does. So
most of the melee that will happen in this fight will be right next to each other. The team of Check 6 plays very offensive at the start in this map because this is their map.
Yep, and we've actually heard Check 6, well formerly known as EMG, you can quote them on, they actually prefer Ruins of Lordaeron over Ring of Valor.
Yeah, it's because if they take the higher ground, as you would say in Ruins of Lordaeron, which would be the center, they've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, you push them off that sarcophagus, and especially now with the changes to the map itself, there's actually no sides to the starting areas. Once you go back there, you have nowhere to go whatsoever. So, Gates about to rise on Ring of Valor. Game 2 between BHMS and Check 6. BHMS taking the first round, so maybe turning Check 6 around a little bit, got them a little worried, and we'll have to see if they can do it once again, but this is a very rough map for it to be done on. And you actually see Brogo trying to hot up Snuts' pet as they know that it's going to just get instantly, domed if Flex and Twix both get on it.
Yeah, and they were trying to do that on Blade's Edge, but the pet was out of line of sight and running up top, probably portaled. and never really got a great kill on it.
All right, Flex coming up to the top. Has a massive target. It's going to start with the flash shot. Out come the Wolves, and now here we see him targeting Snuts. And in comes a Cyclone, and it's immediately going to be trinketed and followed by another Cyclone. Great job from Brogo at the beginning of this match. There's Bloodlust, but a big fear onto Flex, and he's going to have to sit through it. And there's those dots rolling on the Twix. Now look, it's Snuts down to 3,000 HP without even Flex being a part of this game. But look at Twix taking so much damage, and still Snuts not picked back up to full. There's that deterrence used by Twix. And still, Flex
is hating life right now. He has not done anything this entire match except hit Wolves and Bloodlust.
And now he's trying to get back over, and guess what? Cyclone DR's back up, buddy. You are back into it. Now Flex obviously doing nothing. And still, look at Snuts almost dying with just the damage of Twix. And you just got soloed by Twix. And Flex, why don't you cast a healing wave, as you really haven't got to do anything else this game. And they're going to go ahead and clean this up and go on to Massives down to 10,000 HP. Oh, my Lord. Twix, taking care of business, I guess.
He really is. Not only Twix, plus those two Wolves, of course, helped out a little bit. And Bill Gates tossing in a little damage here and there. But, oh my God, getting soloed by a BM Hunter with a Druid healing you.
So, going to go ahead and say they better hope for some Blades Edge Arena again. Huge impact on how this match plays out. Even, you know, a great job by Brogo at the start of the match, the Druid of BHMS. Just the amount of control that was placed onto Flex.
Yeah, and massive too. He helped out. The second that the Cyclone was on DR, he immediately gripped him back and changed him twice.
Look at this 2v3 going on. Just Massive's just tanking him for this entire time. And it looks like Brogo's finally going to let him go down. But still Massive's in the side of AMZ. Finally goes down. There we go. Check 6 going to clean this up. And they're going to tie it up after 2 games. It's going to be 1-1.
So that was a exciting match right there. You know, great crowd control out of BHMS. But unfortunately on this map, you know, BM Hunters rule this map.
That they do. So it's after the second game. Both teams will have a little bit of time to talk things over, but honestly, don't expect either of these teams to change anything up.
Not at all. Both these teams are very confident in their setup, especially being a team that's new to the tournament scene. You don't really see teams show up their first time with kind of a wild card.
Oh, I see what you did there. We're going to go ahead for Game 3 on Dalaran Arena, and I'm feeling bad for Snuts right now. I mean, what do you say to that? I got BM Huntered, and it hurt.
Yeah.
You know, but honestly, you can look at it both ways. Brogo taking that time to CC Flex, and he fell. Honestly, you know, those globals could have been spent healing Snuts. So you kind of look at it both ways. But if you think about it, if Flex wasn't CC'd, if he would have touched Snuts, it would have been way too much damage. Yeah,
I mean, right now, as a Druid, in the last expansion, you've really had time to crowd control, you know, offensively while your warrior is out doing damage. But, you know, with the way how fast that some of these matches go, especially against this team, you know, you either heal or you cycle, and there's not both. But you know, it was a judgment call right there. You know, they knew they had to CC one of them. They can't CC Twix. It's worth a shot.
Still, I cannot believe the amount of damage that Twix put out in that matchup. But, I mean, just looking at his character, it's a few of those things. That 2-piece PvE, extra 5% pet damage, playing Orc, additional pet damage, and just it's ridiculous how much damage he puts out in these games. So let's go ahead and do this for Game 3 between these two teams. Flex coming out to the middle of the arena already. You see those Spirit Wolves. It worked once. Why not try it again? On to Snuts. Still no aim shot up just yet, as Twix not quite getting over to it. And there we go, finally getting the damage through. And there we see those early trinkets. Snuts down to 7,000 damage. NS already used by Brogo, and he's still going down. 4,000 HP. Big grip comes across. Snuts goes down anyways, and just like that, it's going to be 2-1.
NS didn't even move his life. 100%. An aim shot wasn't even up.
It's that quick and dirty whenever these two establish onto a cloth target.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things a lot of people talk about is Bop's about the only way to save it, but welcome to the age of enhancement shamans, when one of the things they bring with them is dispelling down the target they're on.
So it doesn't even matter if you Bop.
No. Bop will not save you against the Beast Rush. So, after 3 games, check 6 up 2. BHMS at 1 after that first, coming out very strong with that first one, able to make it through. But honestly, Blades Edge Arena, they need it to happen right now. But even still, they'll only get it that second time, and they cannot get it a third, meaning, you know, they're going to have to take a win on another map.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, which map would you choose? You know that this team loves Runes of Lordaeron. Maybe pray for Nagrand, but even then, Nagrand can be very rough against this team too.
So we're going to go back into this, and it's going to be on Dalaran Arena for the 4th game. Czech 6 looking to clean house. After losing the first game, these last 2 wins have been just that, a clear win. And Snuts knows what's coming. I mean, what can he do to try to mitigate some damage? If anything, I mean, you might see him try out a different pet, but I still don't think that's really going to do much for him.
I think the only thing that could save him right now is if he could place that demonic portal where he's standing right now.
Oh, when Dalaran first came out and all Warlocks sat in the top of the tunnel laughing at you because you couldn't get up to him? Oh, it was great.
But, I mean, he knows he's going to be the target. He was pre-hotted, everything. Everything happened right in that situation, but it's, they really have to either, crowd control Flex more, maybe stop this, stop the heals from Toes and hope for a kill. What can this team do?
Honestly, I think they have to control Flex. It worked out a little bit for him, delayed Snuts' death, but it just has to be a little smoother and more precise. And now you see it. Here it comes. The pets are going to come across. Totems down. Spirit Wolves out. Bloodlust next, I'm sure. Oh, but a big fear comes across, and it looks like they're going to focus onto Flex a little bit. Still not able to establish on the Snuts as he drops down, but here we go. Flex is going to connect. Big heal comes in from Toes. Snuts still staying up a little better than we've seen in these previous games, but there's the freedom. Chains of Ice not going to help out at all, but there's that Death Grip pointing back down to that lower level, so Snuts getting a little bit of room to work with.
Snuts is up top when he portaled, and he's trying to heal his pet up, actually, which just died from soul link damage. And, oh no, down to half health because he has no pet and getting interrupted when he's trying.
And that's it. Just as the games before, Snuts can't even get his Veldom off before anything happens, and Snuts goes down once again. This is going to make the series a 3-1 over BHMS, with Czech 6 winning it, but we're going to play out that 5th game and make sure that we get each and every one of those wins or losses.
Look at that. 3-1. All right, so we know that they can't play, or is there any maps that we've thrown out yet? Not at all, so there could be any map for this final one, including Ring of Valor.
No good at all for BHMS at this point. And now, honestly, after that first game, I thought, okay, this team is going to stop the train that is Czech 6. But after these couple games, it's not going to be Shadowcleave. And honestly, even with the best Warlock in the world, how are you going to put up with that damage? And, of course, I'm referring to SKEU.
Yeah, maybe SKEU will play it better against them. They saw the slight flaw in this setup, and that's going on the Enhancement Shaman. But the whole time, Twix is going to solo your Warlock.
And even in the game that Brogo decided to CC Flex that little bit, a couple Cyclones into a root, Twix just spends the entire time putting damage into Snuts, and just those few globals that Brogo wasted, or actually put into CCing Flex, which was a great job at, and it looked like things were going to go well for him. Twix just did so much damage that Brogo couldn't catch back up.
All right, so going into the last round, they do have a little time to talk it over, but I don't see either team changing anything whatsoever.
Not at all. Left side of your screen, Czech 6, of course, winning the series in that last game. BHMS on the right side, not looking too happy right now.
Bet Snuts wants to play like a prot paladin or a prot warrior right now, I would.
Oh, triple prot paladin. Remember those? Remember that in season 5? That's always interesting. Don't think it's gonna work anymore though. Sorry. Different day, different era. And there we go, throwing on the headsets, and it looks like we'll be queuing up any second, get this 5th and final game. But remember, we do still have plenty of WoW action to play throughout the day. Coming up next will be SKUS versus Button Bashers, a game I'm personally looking forward to. BHMS versus EG, and then Czech 6 versus SKEU.
Look at how calm Flex looks right now.
I don't think he's intimidated by anything, except watermelons. I mean, watermelon smash is his thing.
Yiska had some pretty funny comments on that live blog. It's like, I thought I smelled watermelon.
Wow. Well, Yiska actually doesn't get to speak anymore after I've seen some of these predictions he's been throwing out.
I know. It's it's only the European predictions which he's screwing up on, and the players that he's talking to.
But I guess if we, muted people for predictions, we'd both be out of here too, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and you know what? Just to add a little salt to the wound, this 5th game between Czech 6 and BHMS will be played on the Ring of Valor.
All right, hey, but the time that they've done the best so far has been on Ring of Valor, so we'll have to see if they decide to do the same strat.
When referring to your best round against a team,
when your Warlock gets soloed
by the BM.
Hey, but it's better.
It's definitely not an up moment for BHMS. So no changes really from either of these teams. I imagine Snuts has probably every piece of resilience, everything he can get to try and stay alive.
Hey, wait a minute. We have a sub.
Oh, you know what? Put me in, coach. Game 5, you already won the series. It looks like Twix is pulling out the worm.
And hear the cheer for Igo.
Somehow, I don't think that was. But hey, you know what? We will say that for putting me in. Appreciate that, Twix. Now I just need my jersey, I guess. But then I'll end up getting egged like they did. Wouldn't be any good.
All right, so this final round on Ring of Valor. And this is a rough map for them, so we'll have to see exactly what happens to Flex since he was controlled beginning to end.
It doesn't really matter. They can control him if they want. And honestly, I think this time he's just going to come out with a little bit of cleaner start and try to make sure he gets a grounding or a shock onto that initial Cyclone. And I think it's still going to end up with the same result.
I mean, they could always split. They know they can kill the Warlock. And he could go on the Druid. Lots of things that this team can do, but he actually has Massives targeted right now. Let's see what he does. Oh, opening with a Frost Shock.
And now we see it. It looks like, they're going to go up to the DK, down to its 7,000 HP. AMC's up, and good lord, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. Apparently, this team can still blow you up. That's what the Worm's out for. A little bit of armor pin, and Brogo caught into that HOJ. AMS is up, and he's using Lichborn, everything he can. I don't think he's going to be able to live through this because his defensive cooldowns are pretty much done for at this point. 5,000 HP, 958, and peace, Massives. Even you can be susceptible to this Beast Rush setup.
Check 6 says we're going to pick your plate target. We're still going to kill him.
And you know what? This is exactly what we saw them do against those Warrior teams. Pull out a different pet, a little extra armor pet, and change their gear setup, and just sit in a plate target from start to finish. I mean, literally, they just melted a DK.
Yeah. They did. And Twix is, he has great foresight into the matches and choosing exactly which pet to use. We've seen him use, he used a Chimera one time, too, to stop the spellcaster, right?
Yeah, literally, he reviews everything down to the T. And actually, make sure you check out on the Melee scoreboards the individual character names. You can click on those and go to these armories, and you should see some of Twix's setups he does have for each individual team. But that is going to conclude the series between Czech 6 and BHMS, with Czech 6 winning it 4-1. Don't forget, we have plenty of WoW action to continue throughout the day, but we're going to take a short commercial break and come back live in Anaheim for the Major League Gaming 2009 PC circuit played on HP.